there in New York. It's so nice this time of year with all the holiday decorations. Good morning. You're watching Fox and Friends First on this Thursday morning. I'm Abby Huntsman.
And I'm Heather Childers. Thank you so much, as always, for starting your day with us. And we do begin with a Fox News alert. A brand new twist in the alleged Russia election hacking. New claims Vladimir Putin was directly involved and that Donald Trump knew all about it.
Now outrage is boiling over after an intelligence briefing gets canceled.
Peter Doocy live from Washington, D.C. with more on this. Good morning, Peter.
Good morning. The House Intelligence Committee had to cancel a behind closed doors meeting about alleged Russian interference in the recent election because nobody from the CIA wanted to come and brief members. And this comes as top Trump advisors are accusing some lawmakers of spinning intelligence they've heard already behind closed doors to score political points.
You had a closed-door House Intelligence Committee briefing, and no sooner did people walk out, apparently, than some folks were talking to the media. That's unfortunate, and at some level, maybe not in this instance, Megan, but at some point it could put all of us at risk. And for what purpose? To politicize or to curry favor with the mainstream media? None of that is worth leaking secrets.
As it turns out, voters don't buy into reports that the CIA concluded that Russia actually impacted the election. 59% of voters in a new Fox News poll don't think that Russian interference had any impact on the election. Less than a third, 32%, think that some interference helped Donald Trump, and 1% say it could have helped Hillary Clinton. But the White House thinks Mr. Trump has actually been egging on Russian hackers.
Republican nominee himself calling on Russia to hack his opponent. It might be an indication that he was obviously aware and concluded, based on whatever facts or sources he had available to him, that Russia was involved.
The chairman of the House Intelligence Committee now says it's unacceptable the CIA won't send anyone to brief lawmakers about cyber attacks today, but the director of national intelligence says that lawmakers have been getting regular briefings about this for months. Back to you in New York.
All right, thanks, Peter. Interesting, 59%.
Yeah, we're going to talk more about those polls coming up a little bit later in the show, so stay tuned for that. Thank you, Peter. Well, House Intelligence Chairman Devin Nunes slamming the CIA for skipping out on the briefing, and he's not the only one. Stephen Hayes, editor-in-chief of the Weekly Standard, says Republicans are fed up with the interworkings of the Obama administration.
I think the context here is that you've seen in the minds of many Republicans, including many on the oversight committees, a politicization of intelligence over the years, particularly at the CIA throughout the Obama administration. If you look back at the kinds of intelligence product that the CIA was providing to the president, it was consistent with what the president wanted to be true, particularly with respect to Al-Qaeda, ISIS, the war on terror. So they were providing intelligence product that was fit to match with the president's ideological conclusions. The concern is that that's what's taking place again here. And I think if the CIA or people at the CIA are going to be leaking these kinds of accusations, they have an obligation to go before the congressional oversight committees and explain themselves.
So let's keep talking about this. Do you think that Russia interfered with the election, and does it even matter? Join a live debate on our Facebook page right after the show. #KeepTalking.
Also new overnight, President Obama refusing to sign off on sanctions against the most terror-friendly country in the world. The decades-old legislation against Iran was renewed at midnight even without the president's signature. The White House arguing the move would upset Iran, undermining that controversial nuclear agreement, which President-elect Trump strongly opposes.
Well, it turns out the Muslim teen who claimed that a trio of Trump supporters called her a terrorist and attacked her on a New York City subway lied. The NYPD now arresting and charging her with making a phony report. The made-up attack was detailed on Facebook, blaming President-elect Trump for promoting Islamophobia. When confronted by police, she caved in and said that she made the whole thing up for attention.
Well, a judge has declared a mistrial in a dramatic murder-for-hire case out of Florida. Dalia DiPolito now on house arrest and will head for a third trial after a jury couldn't agree on a verdict split 3-3. DiPolito is accused of hiring a hitman to kill her husband, but that would-be killer, an undercover cop.
I'm positive, like 5,000% sure.
DiPolito claiming that was all an act for a reality TV show. Prosecutors are promising to take her back to court. Her defense team says they look forward to that.
It's incredibly surprising that happened. Well, like father, like son, the father who sparked national outrage saying that his son was too rich to know the difference between right and wrong, well, he's now in his own trouble. Fred Couch just sentenced to probation after pretending to be a police officer during a fight with a neighbor. His son, Ethan Couch, known as the Affluenza teen, was 16 when he was slapped on the wrist for killing 4 people in a drunk driving crash back in 2013.
That family never ends. Now to a breaking Fox Business alert. 1 billion users' accounts stolen in what could be the biggest hack ever.
So let's get right to Cheryl Casoni from our Fox Business channel. Cheryl, big trouble for Yahoo, and not the first time.
That is absolutely right, ladies. Good morning. 1 billion accounts compromised in this latest breach, according to Yahoo, including 150,000 government and military employees. A massive amount this breach is by any standard, and it could be the biggest hack ever. Now, here's the statement from Yahoo's Chief Information Security Officer, Bob Lord. Quote, an unauthorized third party in August of 2013 stole data associated with more than 1 billion user accounts. The stolen information did not include passwords in clear text, payment card data, or bank account information. The data stolen, though, includes phone numbers, birth dates, and security questions, with the hack possibly taking place again back in August of 2013. News of this breach sending shares of Yahoo down about 2.5% in after-hours trading on Wednesday. This is more bad news, guys, for Yahoo. They're in the middle of a sale to Verizon. So in a separate incident disclosed back in September, 500 million Yahoo accounts were compromised. Security experts say that consumers need to be diligent when it comes to their online lives.
You should have different passwords for every account that you have. There should be no throwaway password you use as routine for every account, and a lot of people do, unfortunately.
Well, Yahoo is currently in the process of notifying potentially affected users. You probably, if you're in the group, got an email last night, we should say. They do want to secure those accounts. They're working on it, guys. Another example of the war between companies and hackers. And in the middle of that, our personal information. So this story really is to be continued. Back to you.
And with those passwords, don't use something that's too personal, because all the information that's available about you, they can look that up, like a pet name, that kind of thing.
A new reality. Thank you, Cheryl.
You bet.
All right, well, the happiest place on earth being slammed with a massive discrimination lawsuit. Former Disney employees, they say they were forced to train their replacements from India, then fired. The 30 tech employees also claimed they were told they wouldn't receive severance if they didn't do that training. Disney is calling the lawsuit complete nonsense and vowing to fight it.
Well, the president-elect sitting down with top Silicon Valley leaders as the tech industry tries to reboot its relationship with Mr. Trump, but notably missing Twitter. Politico reporting that it's because the company refused to make custom crooked Hillary emojis during the election, but Mr. Trump's team firing back.
The conference table was only so big. Okay, there was a lot of companies, and if you go down the list of the top tech companies, I guarantee you'll find additional ones that weren't there. This was not an intentional slight, and it's frankly ridiculous that you're sitting around. There is only so many people that can actually sit around a conference table.
Well, another transition team member saying that Twitter wasn't invited because it's not big enough. Well, she already has a seat, speaking of seats at the table, at the boardroom table, but now reports are circulating that Ivanka Trump will be taking over the White House office reserved for the First Lady. The Trump campaign shooting down those reports, saying that no decisions have been made about Ivanka's involvement. And this is also coming after the future First Lady, Melania Trump, announced that she and her son, Barron, would not be moving to the White House until the end of the school year. That's so he can stay here and finish that out.
Well, Kanye West got more than just a photo op during his visit to Trump Tower. The rapper walking away with this souvenir. It's an autographed copy of the president-elect's Time Person of the Year cover. Mr. Trump writing to Kanye, "You are a great friend. Thanks." Well, the rapper tweeting it out to his nearly 27 million followers.
Well, the time now is about 9 minutes after the top of the hour, and the PC police, they strike again, saying, "So long, Santa," even thinking about serving Christmas tree cookies. Well, the university that is taking the holiday out at parties.
And shaking things up in the White House press corps, why this room is going to look a little bit different when Mr. Trump takes office.
And the world's most powerful people, can you guess who tops the list?
But first, a look at the weather across the country, and it is a cold one out there today. Welcome back to Fox and Friends First. Just 35 days now until the inauguration and the Trump administration beginning to take shape. Look, just 2 cabinet positions left. And up next, the Supreme Court. The president-elect expected to nominate a justice almost immediately. Jackie Ibanez is here now with what we can expect on that. Jackie, good morning.
Hi, good morning, Abby. Well, new year, new president, new face on the Supreme Court. Mr. Trump not expected to waste any time nominating a justice. On the campaign trail, he announced a list of 21 conservatives on his short list for the job. But according to a senior advisor, he's now whittling that down.
Are we going to get originalists on the court?
Yes, so that's one of the first things that's going to happen is, we're going through the cabinet process right now, but next is Supreme Court. Right. He has a list of 20 judges. We worked with the Federal Society.
He's down to 4, he already told me.
Yep, and we've got it down to just a few, and the names are names that people are going to love who believe the Constitution should be interpreted as it was intended.
The president-elect's nomination will solidify a conservative majority on the Supreme Court. Since Justice Antonin Scalia's death last February, the court has been operating with a 4-4 split. President Obama nominated Judge Merrick Garland to replace Justice Scalia, but the Senate refused to vote on a confirmation there. President-elect Trump has said his choice will be very pro-Second Amendment and anti-abortion. Heather?
All right, Jackie Ibanez live for us. Thank you, Jackie. Well, the new Supreme Court isn't the only big shakeup. Coming to Washington, incoming Chief of Staff Reince Priebus says the White House press corps should also expect some big changes.
Even looking at things like the daily White House briefing from the press secretary, I mean, there's a lot of different ways that things can be done. I can assure you that change is going to happen.
Priebus also mentioned addressing assigned seating at those briefings, but didn't outline any specific changes.
All right, listen to this story. This bench honoring our veterans sparking outrage this morning. Why? Because it has the word God on it. The American Atheist Legal Center says the memorial in Oil City, Pennsylvania, violates the Establishment Clause of the Constitution. The controversy is all over a quote by William Penn, the founder of Pennsylvania, reading this: "If we will not be governed by God, we must be governed by tyrants." A nonprofit group says they will fight to keep the bench free of charge. Then there's this. Now the phrase holiday party is offensive, according to a college, sparking outrage for asking students and staff not to use words like Christmas or holiday. Apparently they are too politically correct, or they're not politically correct enough. Instead, Texas Women's University in Denton says use the words like end of semester or end of fiscal year on party invites. Other tips: no red and green sugar cookies, Santa symbols, Christmas trees, or Rudolph.
End of fiscal year. What if it is the end of the year party? Well, now to your health and a possible breakthrough in the cause of autism. Researchers found that women who had low vitamin D levels when they were 20 weeks pregnant were more likely to have an autistic child. Other research has shown that the vitamin is key for brain development. Most prenatal vitamins include vitamin D, but experts say that they might not contain enough. Well, do you think that this is the key to happiness?
I need to feel you, Jerry! Show me the money! Jerry, you better yell! Show me the money! Show me the money!
A great scene there. Well, it turns out that it's actually more about this.
You complete me.
A new study revealing healthy relationships make you happier than money ever could. Researchers evaluated over 200,000 people, and it was love that made them more blissful than if they were to double their income.
I can agree with that one. Very true. All right, the time is now 17 minutes after the hour, and the truth comes out. We just found out the real reason that Mitt Romney may not have been given the job as Secretary of State.
Coffee, what did Aunt Clara give you? Show everybody.
When you're sleeping, he knows when you're away.
I don't want to.
And good news, if you don't like that gift that you get this holiday season, the fast food company helping put it to good use and giving you free food in return.
I like that.
Good morning to you, and certainly not sorry that you've joined us here on Fox and Friends First this morning. And the truth comes out. Why didn't Mitt Romney get the Secretary of State job? Well, there are some new reports out this morning that it's because he refused to apologize for this.
Donald Trump is a phony, a fraud. His promises are as worthless as a degree from Trump University.
Well, Mr. Trump reportedly asked Mr. Romney to publicly apologize if he wanted to be considered for the top diplomat position. Romney apparently refused and did not get the job. Russian President Vladimir Putin named the most powerful person in the world, the Russian leader topping Forbes' list for the 4th year in a row. And taking second place, President-elect Donald Trump, jumping from 72 last year all the way up, big jump. And German Chancellor Angela Merkel coming in 3rd place. Outgoing President Obama plummeting way down to 48th. Last year, he was number 2.
It's that music. It is one of the most highly anticipated movies of the year.
If the Empire has this kind of power, what chance do we have? We have hope. Rebellions are built on hope.
It is the latest installment in the Star Wars saga, Rogue One, and it hits theaters today. So let's step into the Fox light with Fox and your VP of Marketing, Michael Tamara, who sat down with the director and members of this cast.
I
Inside
did.
Scoop.
I'm so excited. I sat down with them. They all told me what it was like to become a part of this iconic, famous movie franchise.
Jim, whatever I do it to protect you. So you understand?
I understand.
What is it like as a director to step into these shoes of Star Wars? I mean, it's got to be somewhat daunting.
To me, they're masterpieces, and it's like to try and make a film that fits on your shelf next to the others is a high bar. But a strange thing happens because I grew up like a lot of kids my age who watch Star Wars every day, play with the toys. You know, on the first day you get on set and there's suddenly you're stood next to a stormtrooper and there's an X-Wing, and you just feel like a kid and you feel like you've gone back home, and it's actually a really comfortable place to make a movie.
When you got the call that you made the cut, you're going to be part of the Star Wars universe, what was your first reaction?
I became a 6-year-old. I started crying, shouting, jumping, but then they said you cannot tell anyone.
I believe my character is the closest to the Force. The fact that he's the believer, the fact that he's blind, you have to feel it with his heart, and he gets to say the coolest line.
I fear nothing. All is as the Force wills it.
Are you with me?
All the way.
Looks so good. I saw 28 minutes of it a couple of weeks ago. It looked incredible. People calling this one of the best Star Wars of all time. And it's shot, from what I've seen, so beautifully.
I was just going to say, seeing behind the scenes is just stunning. And it's out today, right?
Out today. This is the whole thing tomorrow with a bunch of friends. We cannot wait. You can check out foxnewsmagazine.com for a look at all of my celebrity interviews, or follow me on Twitter and Instagram, Abby, and I think you do.
Of course I do. Absolutely. I have a feeling people are already in line to see this film today.
Oh, you bet. You bet.
Awesome work. Thanks, Michael. Heather, over to you.
Especially if you say to watch it, Michael, you know we'll head there. Well, the time is now about 25 minutes after the top of the hour, and calling it quits. One town's entire police department, they just walked off the job, all of them. The dubious demands that officers say pushed them right over the edge. And America under a Trump presidency, some brand new Fox News polls reveal how voters really feel since his upset over Hillary Clinton. We will analyze them up next.
It's Thursday, December 15th, and this is a Fox News alert. Tensions boiling over the CIA refusing to brief Congress about evidence of Russian hacking in the 2016 election.
This is absolutely disgraceful. This violates all protocols, and it's almost as if people in the intelligence community are carrying out a disinformation campaign against the president-elect of the United States.
And if you ask the White House, it is all Donald Trump's fault. We are live this morning in Washington.
We have a chance to stop Trump with the Electoral College.
Desperation hitting a new low as the ladies of The View try to hatch a new plan to keep the president-elect from taking office.
And holiday delivery game changer. Amazon just delivered its first package by a drone. You won't believe how fast it got there, but didn't end up in one piece.
Yeah,
who knows? Fox and Friends First continues right now.
soon. So have you been naughty or have you been nice?
Next week. I can't believe that.
A live shot outside of our studios here, Avenue of the Americas in New York City. Good morning to you. You're watching Fox and Friends First. I'm Heather Childers.
Good morning. I'm Abby Huntsman. It's currently 31 after the hour. And we do begin with that Fox News alert and a brand new twist in the allegations that Russia hacked the election. New claims that Vladimir Putin was directly involved and that Donald Trump knew about it all along.
And now the outrage is boiling over after an intelligence briefing gets canceled. Peter Doocy live from Washington, D.C. with more on this. Good morning, Peter.
Good morning. It's hard to have a briefing about CIA conclusions regarding cyber attacks if nobody from the CIA wants to actually come to the briefing. But that's why the House Intelligence Committee had to cancel a behind closed doors meeting today about cyber attacks. And now the House Intelligence Committee Chairman Devin Nunes, a Republican, says this, quote, "It is unacceptable that the intelligence community directors would not fulfill the House Intelligence Committee's request to be briefed on the cyber attacks that occurred during the presidential campaign. Our panel has been vigorously looking into reports of cyber attacks during the election campaign, and we want to clarify press reports that the CIA has a new assessment that it has not shared with us." Another Republican congressman now, Peter King from New York, has a warning for whoever is going public with privately shared intel about the election.
This violates all protocols, and it's almost as if people in the intelligence community are carrying out a disinformation campaign against the president-elect of the United States. It's absolutely disgraceful, and if they're not doing it, then it must be someone in the House or the Senate who's leaking false information, and there should be a full investigation of this.
Meanwhile, at the White House yesterday, Press Secretary Josh Earnest accused the president-elect Donald Trump of essentially egging on Russian hackers during the campaign, although Earnest stopped short of saying that he thinks hackers are actually the reason that Mr. Trump won the election. Back to you in New York.
All right, Peter Doocy, live for us. Thank you, Peter. Always great to have him here. Well, some brand new Fox News polls giving us a closer look at how people feel about Russia's attempt to influence the election. And here with a closer look, breaking it all down for us, President and partner at Maslansky and Partners, Lee Carter. Thank you for being here.
Good morning.
Have we seen you since the election?
We have,
all
but
right.
Just that week.
But these are the first polls that we know about how people are feeling since then, right?
Yeah, and it's fascinating. People are excited and optimistic, and it's not necessarily what you're seeing in the mainstream media.
Let's take a look at that first poll. This is Russia's attempts to influence 2016. Who did that help, the presidential election? Was it Donald Trump? Well, 32% think that. Hillary Clinton, just 1%. But not impacting it at all, 59%.
And I think this is a really important thing for people to notice, is that 59%, that's well more than half folks do think that it did not impact the election.
But not if you listen to mainstream media or watch them.
That's right. And this whole Russia influence is going to be Donald Trump's the version of Hillary Clinton's emails. It's going to plague him. People are going to be talking about this, and it's because they were so shocked at the election outcome that they needed to explain it somehow. And this is how people are explaining it, and they're going to keep coming at it. There's not yet real evidence that Donald Trump knew, and I think that it's really important that everybody remember that most people don't feel that this had an impact on the election outcome.
And that relates possibly to this next poll where people are hopeful now. This describes the election outcome feelings. 59% hopeful, 50% are relieved. They're just glad it's over. 45% embarrassed, 43% excited. Then you have empowered, scared, angry, and depressed at the very bottom there, 30%.
So you can see here, most people actually are more on the positive emotion side. They're optimistic, they're hopeful, they're relieved. But the thing is, there are some people that are angry, embarrassed, etc. Now, what's so important, Republicans have to remember that they need to bring these people along because they are in many ways angry and scared. And when that happens, people are emotional, can't necessarily make rational decisions. And so I think Republicans are going to have to make emotional appeals to these folks that's going to make them trust that things are going in the right direction. But we're already seeing a big shift in how people are feeling before the election and after the election. Many more people are coming along on the Trump train, so to speak, getting excited, getting enthusiastic, really liking some of the moves that he's making, whether it's the technology summit, the CEO summit. Some of his picks are going a long way to reassure.
And the cross-section of people coming into and out of Trump Tower and then going directly to the people with this thank you tour, I'm sure making a difference.
That's right. This thank you tour is something that, even though a lot of people are covering it as a victory tour, it is making people excited, optimistic. It is reminding people that Donald Trump committed to being the president for all Americans, going out there, not stopping once he was elected. A lot of people, a lot of candidates have then gone, I got elected, now I'm going to focus on the White House in D.C. And he's saying, no, I am going to go out there and be with the people. That's what this is all about.
Because he knows that it's the people who got him elected. Also going directly to them on things like Twitter to let them know what's going on first, sometimes before the media.
That's right.
All right, finally, Donald Trump's dealings with, okay? Do you think he was too accommodating with Russia? 50% say yes. Too confrontational with China? 43%.
Now, I think this is fascinating how people are feeling about how he's dealing with Russia. Only 50% is half the people feel like he's too accommodating with Russia, but that means that half the people feel that he's doing the right thing by Russia. And so we have to keep in mind, despite all the coverage that people are so concerned about how we're dealing with Russia, most people actually are okay with how he's dealing with it and moving forward. And just remember, he's not even in power yet. Let's give the man a chance. But I do think that we're seeing this real shift that people are starting to come, people that were really opposed to Donald Trump are starting to come around. And I think we're going to see as he moves forward, they're going to be more and more comfortable and many people excited about him.
Speaking of moving forward, our last poll here, yes, believe Trump will, okay, repeal Obamacare. Start with that. 68% believe that he will do that. Revise some trade deals, big on the campaign trail. 62% say that he'll do that. Reduce corruption, deport illegals, also big on the campaign trail. 39% say he'll stick with that. And then you saw 34% with build a wall.
And I think the administration or the transition team should feel really encouraged because people are believing that he's going to do what he says and say what he means. So this is something that's really, really important. This is going to go a long way to the trust in the president, that people believe he's going to do what he's promised. And oftentimes what happens is a lot of people love election promises and all of that, but they feel like they're not going to live up to them. Donald Trump has already acted. He's been doing things about the jobs, economy. People are really excited about what he's been doing so far. This is a very encouraging number, and I think we're going to continue to see a lot more momentum towards Donald Trump.
He said last night, jobs, jobs, jobs. That's what he's going to focus on. Thank you so much, Lee.
Great to
Always
be here.
Great to have you here.
Thanks so much.
We'll have you back. Abby?
All right, thank you, ladies. So maybe this is why she lost the election. Hillary Clinton's campaign reportedly ignored warning signs from her ground team in Michigan. Politico reporting staffers at the Clinton headquarters were convinced that she would win the state by 5 points over Donald Trump. They were so confident they tossed voter information right in the garbage. Of course, they were wrong, and Mr. Trump ended up winning that state. And the ladies of The View still refusing to accept the results of the election.
We have a chance to stop Trump with the Electoral College.
That is Joy Behar demanding electors block the incoming administration, basing her arguments on reports of Russian interference and Mr. Trump's business ties. But co-host Sarah Haynes quickly turning the tables on that one.
The people spoke, and those electorates are obligated then to vote that voice. To me, the rules were decided before the game.
Haynes also saying it's not fair to go back and rewrite those rules now.
Well, another big pick for President-elect Trump, announcing who will be singing the national anthem at his inauguration. That's when she performed here on Fox and Friends. That was amazing. I remember that moment. Jackie Evancho, she was just chosen and given the honor on January 20th. She will be singing for the inauguration. We are told that the 16-year-old will also be singing with world-renowned tenor Andrea Bocelli. That will be amazing.
Well, the time is now almost 40 minutes after the hour, and pay or get out, just 10 days out until Christmas. And that's the message to marooned families with skyrocketing energy bills.
And the reason for the season, the school bus driver who just went above and beyond, making sure that kids had more than just a safe ride to school.
Plus, you've seen the commercial time and time again.
Sleep all night long.
I personally guarantee that my pillow will be the most comfortable.
We are putting it to the test live on our demo. That is coming up. I cannot wait for this.
Yeah, we'll be putting on our coats to head outside.
Up up or get out. Marine families say they are being threatened with eviction after their energy bills jump from $0 to $500. One military wife claiming they aren't even using any extra power at Camp Pendleton in California. Most military families receive a basic housing allowance that's supposed to cover rent and utilities. Camp Pendleton suggests that the price spike may have to do with the new Pentagon Energy Conservation Initiative. And listen to this one. An entire town now has no police force after every single cop quit in protest against the government. They say the council members in Bunker Hill, Indiana, asked them to dig up fellow members' criminal history. The officers also say they had to share one set of body armor, putting their lives on the line. Well, the council denying all accusations. A neighboring department now covering that city. Heather?
Well, just in time for Christmas, gifts arriving by, that's right, drone. Amazon releasing video of the company's first drone drop-off. A bag of popcorn and a video streaming device, I'm sure that should be, in the UK. Well, the delivery arriving just 13 minutes after the customer ordered. No word on when drone deliveries will begin in the U.S. since the FAA is now for banning them. And worried that you won't get what you want for Christmas? Don't worry. Burger King has got show everything. The Fast Lane is swapping bad gifts for a free Whopper and then to charity. It's only happening at one store in Miami on the 26th. But you can still take part on social media. Just post a picture of your gift with the hashtag Whopper Exchange. The first post will get a surprise. Wonder what that will be. But right now, let's check Brian up. Amazing.
I mean, we showed 3 hours, but definitely a huge feature coming your way. You're only going to see here. You know, Heather was 22 years ago. Today, the first responders pulled off an incredible incredible rescue out on the West Coast.
Linda Morelli is landing the Sheriff's Department. He cleared blood pressure here, coming straight up. Linda Morelli is pulled
But before those rescuers got there, the victim's co-pilot trekked 5 miles. Seven hours to call for help. This morning, all of them, the first responders, the co-pilots, and more, reunite.